Welcome everyone to the Toku Portal podcast. It's me, Zero, here with
Decade. And today we are talking about Kamen Rider Build, episode 28. So Rai wasn't able to make it, but he did leave me with some notes. So pretty much we start off with Rogue countering all of Build's attacks after getting the data from Sawa. Rogue uses mostly the diamond bottle. It's pretty neat. And Sawa confesses her betrayal to Misora and Banjo. Then we get a flashback of Sento and Sawa in the lab when he was working on Rabbit Rabbit. She admits that she lied about her father. Thankfully, Sento is smart, and he kind of already had a suspicion that she was lying. But what surprised me is that when she was turned into a smash, that was just more of Namba's scheming so she could deflect suspicion. But he betrayed her when he tried to have her captured when she was visiting Prime Minister Himuro when he was in the hospital. As a Namba children, she should have killed herself, but she was too attached to her new family. Yeah, pretty heavy stuff. What did you think, Zero?
I thought, that was pretty intense from the get-go. I mean, it's good that, at least we're not having Sento be stupid enough to fall for the same trap again. But yeah, really heavy backstory with Sawa. I mean, while I was watching it, I kind of noticed. Well, I guess I've been noticing it for a while. But this show has this really interesting way of doing old school writer concepts in a new light. Kabuto did that. X8 kind of did that too. But this show is really doing it because with the whole Nanba children, it's just another take of the brainwashed grunts, the shocker guys, except instead of having normal adults kidnapping them, modifying them, and then brainwashing them, it's no, we just raised these sleeper agents, and that's so much more insidious, but could kind of happen, so it gives it a little bit more realism. But yeah, it's really dark. As for Sawa, I mean, cool, not cool, but good that she admitted it. But again, she kind of points out what am I supposed to do, right? It was a hard choice either way, but at least she didn't lie to them again, so that was good.
Yep. So then let's see. Sento basically didn't confront her because he considers her a precious friend. Namba held Nabashima's family hostage to get Sawa to steal the data. And then during the fight, Rogue kind of has a monologue, and it's really good. Rai says that it was super well shot, and yeah, it was Fi's flashbacks with that projector thing. Basically, he wants to become stronger as a fighter and as a person to become a worthy leader of the country. He basically cast aside his ignorance and pride so he could be reborn. Yeah, that was really good. Thoughts?
That was pretty well shot. Okay, to be honest, I actually kind of felt that it made the episode a little padded. We would fight and then oh, here's the backstory, and it's it's shot so differently. That's why I kind of slowed it down. But to be fair, at least they're experimenting in shots, so that's good. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of fuzzy with the projector thing. It's a little different, but at least they tried something new. His whole thing of I tried to rule this country, asking everybody else to support me basically, and now it's if I want to be strong, if I want this country to be strong, then I just have to be strong as well and lead it into the future with my own strength. So it gives him a better, I guess for this whole country uniting, conquering, I'm gonna push this through to the future and make my vision come true kind of villain. That's a good backstory for that. I mean, it did feel a little padded, when he does it and then Build does it later on, but otherwise, I guess it was well enough.
Yep. So then the sun rises. Sawa asked Kazumi to save Nabashima and his family, and then we get an eagle eye shot of all these guardian bodies strewn about. Rai said he really liked that. But pretty much everything was Sento's plan. Sawa gives the signal for him to change into the Blue Steel Warrior. Tank. Now, Rye's thoughts on this. He says the form looks great, but his leg turning into tanks looks a little ridiculous. I would agree, but it was still kind of fun. What did you think?
It's cool that he has like the shoulder guns, and they like normally when you have shoulder guns, it's kind of useless, but here it kind of was worked in really well, where he kicks them up or something, and then like the shoulder guns like immediately like blast him away. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So they're just used like secondary. That was good. As for like Kazumi's fight with like the Guardians, I mean, like, yeah, it would have probably taken way too much time and budget to show it, but at least we saw like the bots strewn around, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's nice that like one, Sento would trust that like Kazumi would win, and two, like come up with the plan. Like, yeah, there's 3 fucking riders on our side. Like, you know, we could use 1 or 2 to do something creative, and it was a good, well enough plan, or well enough executed. As for Tank, it's interesting. I mean, I like how they lied, that they're like, oh, you know, here's the data for Rabbit Tank, and like, or not Rank, just Rabbit, and like, he already had a second form, so it also shows that like Sento is learning, because like every time he builds like 1 form, it gets countered. So this time he built 2 forms and lied about having the other one, so that's clever. As for like the tank legs, it's fine. Like, we've seen more random shit. I thought it was okay. It was a little over the top, but like, we're never gonna see this again, unless it shows up like once in a movie or something. But otherwise, it was fun enough.
Definitely. So yeah, he wins. Toto wins the championship fight against Sato. Himuno offers Gentoku a chance to return, but he refuses and wanders off. Namba isn't happy about Sawa's betrayal. Masakuni is mad that Sato lost, but intends to keep his promises for losing. But Namba has different plans, and he has Stark kill him, and then change his face to Masakuni's to take his place as the Prime Minister of Sato and continue the war. Yeah, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. And I was kind of wondering, like, is he still gonna be like an old man? And yes, the actor pulls off Namba's creepy old man voice pretty well. So I'll just finish up. Misora slaps Sawa, they hug it out. We get like a shot of the robot army, the new robot army, ready to deploy next episode. Episode end. Thoughts?
Yeah, that was intense. Holy shit, that ending. Like, I thought this was padded out, because like it would, like, I was thinking, oh, like Bill doesn't have a secondary form, so maybe because he has like super speed form, he's gonna like slowly go back to his lab during like the whole episode and like work on part by part of the suit, and by the end it realized like every time he like ran off during the fight, like he was building the secondary. Okay, that would have been like way too complicated, but like it would have been cool. As for like the robot army though, like holy shit, like I did not see that coming. I mean, like, I knew Namba Industries might have been a problem, but like shit, I did not expect them to deploy this much like right off the bat. As for him like taking over Masakune, like I didn't see that at all. Like, that came out of left field, but like it makes sense when you have a guy like Stark on your side. The one weird thing is like he acts like that creepy old man, but then he like just like drops his cane and like walks off like there's no tomorrow. I'm like, your body's still the same. Technically you should have height problems, but like whatever. Yeah, it's weird. I guess maybe he changes their bodies fully, because like Katsuragi and whoever Sento used to be are slightly different like heights and stuff, so I guess it does change him, so it makes sense why he doesn't need his cane. But yeah, like I didn't see the whole face. Like at first he's like, oh, I'm gonna run Sato. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, isn't that like an elected position? You can't do that. And then like Stark shows up. I'm like, ah, shit, this bastard. Like, this whole plan. I mean, to be fair, we've known that like Stark and Namba Industries were playing their own game for a long time, but like every time you kind of forget, and then like he just shows up to like remind you, like, oh no, he's gonna be like the big bad. Like that guy, man. Why do we keep letting him walk off? Like we should have just taken him out by now. But I guess we wouldn't have a show then. Oh, it was interesting that like Masakune was gonna keep his word. Like it's weird. Like Gentoku and like the other two prime ministers have this huge ambition, but like they're mostly true to their word. Like even the Hokuto invasion was kind of a secondary thing that like Stark probably like egged her on to do, which he kind of says anyway. So yeah, it's weird. Like they have all this ambition, but they're still kind of honorable. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, without rules, you're just a crazy old man. Namba is a pretty good villain, I must say. But I think I've pretty much said what I need to say. Look forward to next week. This was a surprisingly well-written episode. I'm definitely glad that they put so many layers into the Sawa thing, because if this was another writer's show, it could have been really bad. But they pulled it off pretty well. The next arc is going to be crazy. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time after Zero's final thoughts.
Yeah, it was an interesting episode. Like, after last week's episode, I thought this episode was going to be a lot more action heavy, but it ended up being a little bit padded. But the Sawa thing was great. Like them remembering that they have 3 writers, that's good. Man, like, to be honest, like, it's good that they changed actors, because I was kind of getting sick of fucking looking at Namba's face. Because he's like, oh, I'm just creepy old man, I'm gonna sit here. Yo, holy shit. Okay, if Namba is basically Great Leader or Black Ghost, they did all of his gimmicks. Now they even did the thing of like the Great Leader changes faces all the fucking time. Like every time it gets revived, for the most part. Or, whatever. Like he's a T-Rex, or he's been a couple times. So I guess we're totally hitting all the Showa rider points at this point. I hope the next arc is good, but I'm like, I don't know, man. It seems weird because we're like 28 episodes in. Like, is the rest of the show just gonna be one giant war? I mean, it could be interesting, but I'm like, it feels like it might just be really dragged out by the end, because we had like basically 2 mini war arcs like back to back. And we're getting into a third one. Like, I know Namba Industries is gonna happen eventually, but like, I hope it's not the whole show, because I don't know. It might get a little padded, but I mean, it might be well done. I don't know. The show's been pretty solid lately. So with that, that's my final thoughts. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.